Hey, 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 Sherri Brown here, coming at you from SherriBrownCoaching.com. How's everybody doing today? Hey, hey, hey. So today, as promised, I am going to be doing a little interview with two network marketing rock stars. So if you feel that people could get benefit from this, feel free to share it out. Sharing is caring, and you can do that simply by hitting the share button. Also, if at any time you guys are getting some value, feel free to hit the like button. And if you want to get notified when I do go live, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It should be somewhere on your screen. Feel free to throw into the comments where you guys are viewing from. Yesterday, I did post on my wall asking you guys to submit some questions, and so I'm super excited today. And I see that I've got a few people on. Obviously, we're not connected, so feel free to send me a friend request. I would love to hop on and chat with you guys. Hey, 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 Ashley Rogers, what's up, what's up? You are from Minnesota. Jason Yost, hey, hey, hey. So we are going to go ahead and let me tell you just a little bit about these two. They are going to be giving you some answers. So we have David, say what's up.
Hey guys.
And we have Paul.
Hi, how's it going?
Now, Paul has been in the network marketing industry for about 3 years, and he has built a team of over 850 people. And Mr. David here, in about 4 years, has built a team of 7,500 people. What? That's crazy, guys. So be sure also you can throw some questions into the comments, and we will go ahead and get started. So the first question that we had was from Miss Shauna, and she asks, how do you find the runners? Welcome, welcome, Jamie. So I'm going to switch it over to these two pros right here. And who wants to tackle this one? How do you find the runners?
Well, as far as prospecting goes, first of all, you have a deep belief in your product and the product you've chosen to work with. You have to believe that everybody needs it. And so if you're talking to people, you really can't be selective. You have to see who's open. Are you open to, if you're a makeup person, are you open to learning about this makeup? Are you open to this wellness product? Are you open to this legal shield? You know, and you're gonna have to do some of the numbers games, but believe in your product to the point that you know everyone needs it. Everyone is a prospect, and don't be afraid. The no's get you to the yeses, and you know it may take 20 no's a day before you get to somebody who says yes.
So David, what is your response to, you know, how do you find the runners, the people who actually want to build and be serious about it?
You know, I don't know that I spend a lot of time, and we have a bit of a unique product, but I don't know that I spend a lot of time specifically looking for runners as much as like Paul said, I find people who just need our product. And then whether they want to run with it or not really isn't my concern at that moment. So where I place them on my team will determine whether they're wanting to build or they're wanting to, you know, do it as a business or not. But my goal is to really just help them with the product, and whether they just become a user and they love the product, that's fantastic. And then what we then do is educate them on the potential, the possibility of, okay, if it works for you, then it probably makes sense that it would work for someone else. And if you care about that person enough, then you're probably going to share it with them anyway. Otherwise, you wouldn't be using the product either. And so at that point, then it's just a matter of explaining the compensation plan. And then those that respond with, you know, I think that's something that I'd like to do too, those become the runners. So many of our people actually start off as users and then they become runners because they believe in the product. And so we're heavily product-centric business because of that. So I can't say that I look for runners as much as I just look for people in need.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, so moving on to our next question from Megan Jackson. She asks, And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not a fan of this light. We're outside, but it does nothing for my face. So, JS, okay? So, Megan Jackson says, what is a great telling question to ask of a potential consultant? What kind of language do you use while prospecting? So, I'm going to get my face out of the frame and hand it on over to the pros.
Yeah, this lighting right here is really messing with me. So let's see
is.
if I can get some shade going on here. Yeah, there
Lighting
I am.
is everything when you're doing videos, and I'm kind of looking like Tales from the Crypt right now.
All right. And again, we go back to openness. Are you open to try? Are you open, if you're looking for opportunity, are you open to other forms, other ways of making money? Are you open to natural health care? Are you open to trying something that makes a difference in your life? Are you open to sharing it with the others? And you know, for us, it's, are you open to learn about our product? Are you open to use our product? And then for those select people, are you open to share the product with others? Those are what we call the 3 doors of openness. So you're open to learn, open to use, and open to share. And it's a very innocuous way to get people to make that consideration. So it's not, hey, do you want to jump into my business with me and make $1 million? We're going to change the world, and I'm going to drive a fancy car. And oh my gosh, wouldn't you love to do that? But no, it's just, you have to start at a level that is a one-on-one conversation, that's a natural, you know, a natural advance of your belief in your product.
Right. Anything you want to add?
I got to be honest. I was extremely negative toward network marketing. Okay, so when I was brought on, I specifically told my enroller, I don't want to do the business. Okay, so you know, now with the multi-million-dollar per year business, I'm kind of glad I finally said no to that. But I didn't know that at the time, and I think you have to be very careful about that, because there are a lot of predispositions that people have had. They've either been burned, they've had something that's gone wrong with them in the past with regard to some opportunity or whatever that they were sold on. So you kind of have to be careful with that. I think I spend more time listening than I do telling anything, and I think a lot of the times what we kind of forget is, you know, are we trying to sell them something, or are we trying to solve something? And so if a person, you know, if I'm standing in line at a Starbucks or where we're at right now, and the person behind me is sneezing, then I may have something, I may have a solution for that, right? And so that would strike up a conversation. So I'm not actually trying to sell them on something. I'm just like, it's a comfortable conversation. Allergies are bad right now, right? And he was like, oh, they're killing me, you know, it's this, that, and the other. You know, have you ever tried anything natural, you know, to help solve that? And so I'm not trying to sell him anything, right? I'm just trying to offer a solution that he may find useful. If he says, yeah, dude, I'll try anything, what do you got? And then the conversation starts. So it wasn't anything of like, hey, I saw you sneeze, you need to be in my business, right? How cheesy is that, right? And so,
absolutely.
So we don't really do that. So it's just a matter of, you know, you find those people. Again, you're not really targeting people necessarily.
Identifying their pain.
You're just identifying their pain. Yep.
Yes. Excellent, excellent. Oh, and just before we get started, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt, typically I do not go to meetings wearing this kind of shirt, but it is St. Patty's Day, so be sure that you are wearing some green, and I'll just go ahead and tell you that that David over here needs to be pinched. Paul, he's good to go. And Miss Denise needs to be pinched. If you can, oh, okay, no, she has green jewelry, so
I'm the only one.
So yeah, typically, but I am rocking it today, just so you know. So just a couple of great tips is use the word open. And I say this a lot, you know, if you ask somebody if they're interested, nobody's ever interested in anything. So just switching up that language and using the word open. And then again, like they said, just looking to solve their problems. Okay, moving on. And are you guys getting some value? I know Megan Jackson, you just hopped on and we just finished up your question. If you have any others, throw those into the comments as well, and we are moving on. So Teresa Treadwell asked, when you asked to follow up and they give approval, how many times would you connect before giving up? And this is a great question and one that I see a lot of people ask. So I'm going to go ahead and get my face out of the way and let the pros do the talking.
This goes back to a matter of touching, and I've been in outside sales for about 20 years. I've sold industrial supplies and things like that, but touches, don't get frustrated after the first couple of touches. Just sales in general, 80% of your business is done from the 5th to the 12th touch. So don't give up, and so don't get desperate either. So continue to caringly follow up and get to the point where someone is, actually responds back to you. But lovingly give out the information. If you've identified that your product is a fit with their pain, or something that they need to solve, or they're a natural fit for your business, then at that point you will continue to follow up. I mean, that begs another question, and maybe for another video that you do, is when do you stop talking to them? And how do you do that activity? There are actually methods that you can use to stop talking to someone that actually get them to start talking to you. And those are great lessons to learn. But right now, the 5th to the 12th touch, 80% of your business is done there. And 80% of people give up after the first or second touch. So the person who's slow and steady, consistently giving out those touches, are the ones that are going to win.
All right, anything you want to add?
Yeah, you twist me over a little bit.
Okay. Let's stick his face in here a little bit more.
There we go. I forgot I was having a snuggle, so I forgot about that. The one thing, as far as the touches are concerned, it's easy to have another touch if you have a reason to have another touch. So the big problem that happens a lot of times is it's really our own fear mindset that whatever the product that we have, we're really not sure if they need it or not. And so we fail to have a reason to follow up with them. So instead of actually having something, you give them a sample of the product. Well, the simple touch is this. It's amazing how fast people walk away from it. It's like, oh my God,
I'm not going to be on.
Yeah, I don't know where I am. And so, but it's amazing. You follow up with another touch. And it's easy as long as you have a reason to follow up. And so the approval part really comes from, why were you going to follow up with them in the first place? If you were going to follow up with them to enroll, that's probably not the right touch, okay? Because they're looking for, okay, he's going to sell me this time, right? But if you're really just following up to say, how did that work for you, okay? Then it's not, and that's what you tell them. So, hey, here's a sample of our product. I don't care what the product is. I'd really like to know what you felt about the product, and if it worked for you, if it was hair care or body, whatever the stuff is, or juice or whatever you're selling. And so the purpose of the follow-up is to determine what was the point. Okay, did it work or not? Because if it didn't, and this is something that we in our business we have. It's nice to have a broad product line, okay, and so that if one product doesn't work, you have another one that you can follow up with, and so that's kind of one of the ways that we deal with it, because I always tell them, look, this is what works for most people that are having the condition that you're having, or the concern that you've got, but it might not work, and that's okay, because I've got some other things, I just don't want to give you a ton of crap that you may or may not use, and so I want to give you something to try right now, and then I'll follow up with you in 2 to 3 days. Would that be okay with you? And they'll typically say yes. Otherwise, they wouldn't still be talking to you, right? They're already done with you. And so they'll say it's okay. So then when you follow up, your question is not to enroll them, but to say, how did it work for you? If they say, oh my God, it was amazing, then you're like, well, that's fantastic. I'd love to show you more about what we have so that we can really, change your life. If it didn't work, that's fantastic. I have some other options that may work better. So I'd like to give you some more samples. Boom, there's your next touch. Okay? Still not trying to sell them anything. I'm selling them on the idea of using my product. That's all I'm selling.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So getting them to, join your business and be a runner right out of the box, that is irrelevant. Create product users. From your product users will emerge your runners. got another question on there.
Those are great responses. And like I said, be sure to suck all this information in because, yes.
No,
I like Sophia's question. That's
okay.
I can't see it. So.
Because like I said, in case you're new to the show and you just joined us, David over here in less than 4 years, or around 4 years, has created a team of over 7,500. Paul has been in the business, him and his wife Denise have been in the business around 3 years, and they have already built a team of over 750, and it's growing strong. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome Sophia and Clay. What's up? And Aaron Price, thanks for joining us. So I'm going to go ahead and answer Sophia's question. It's a great question. She asked, what's the best place to prospect having issues with this? Now, for me, I do a lot of online. So I'm going to let them answer this question too, because they have built a lot of their business offline, and I think they can give you a great perspective that I can't, because I do things a little differently when it comes to prospecting. So going to pass it back over to them. So best places to prospect.
Well, let's take a look at that. I mean, depending on what your product is. What?
Turtle shirt.
I know.
Thank you. I love my Ninja Turtle shirts.
Well,
I'm telling you, we overdressed for this interview. You know, I should have had a different T-shirt. But anyway, what was the question? Oh,
Best
prospect.
place to prospect.
Best place to prospect. Take a look at where your product does not apply, and don't go there. Okay.
That's a good one.
Go everywhere else, and don't exclude people. If your product doesn't apply at a gym, don't go to a gym. If it doesn't apply at an attorney's office, don't go there. Everywhere that it does apply, if everybody needs your product, then, you know, don't.
is your oyster.
Yeah, don't, you know, cherry pick. Work down the street. Start at your, you know, you don't necessarily have to start at your friends and family, but you may go business to business. People are there. People are captive, you know. Somebody you run into, you've got to figure out why someone needs your product and help identify that. If that's something that everybody, you're replacing, you know, their household items with what you have, and they can make a little money off of that, and they're going to use the product any time or any way, you know, they might as well use your product. Or if they're already, you know, shopping somewhere else, and you can get them a little rebate check if that's what you're into. It doesn't have to necessarily be great deep pain, but find out who doesn't need your product and go somewhere else.
So Paul, where would be some good places that you actually go to find prospects in regards to like offline? Where do you go to talk to people?
Well, we're in the natural health field, so you know, my natural inclination, I'm going to just cherry pick people at the beginning. I would go to a massage therapist, a chiropractic office, a health food store. But more and more, I figured out that everyone needs my product. Everyone needs some form of general wellness and health, some foundational health.
Yeah.
And so I try to do less of the cherry picking and more of talking to people that are next to me.
Yeah.
And
like we just did.
Just like we
So-
did inside. So if you say, are you open to natural forms of healthcare?
Yeah.
What do you know about X? Would you like to learn more? Are you open? Are you open? Are you open?
Yeah.
Are you open to learn? Are you open
Yeah.
to try? And if they like your product, at that point you can convert them into a runner by saying, you know, you really like the product, you're enthusiastic about it. Are you open to share?
So,
And
so
Hey, Matt.
David, what would be some suggestions that you would give as far as where do you find people? I mean, you've built a team of, you know, 7,500 people in such a short amount of time. Where are you finding these people to talk to? Because I think a lot of people, they struggle with where to even find people to talk to and you know, to begin with.
all right, so a couple of things on that. One of the things, of those 7,500 people, I've only enrolled 150 of them, okay? So there was significant organic growth, significant leadership growth, and so our team is built a little differently. It's not a high recruitment as necessary as loving your team, and the structure is built a little bit that way. However, I was last March, we moved from where we live here in Jackson, Tennessee. We moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I moved into a completely different market and didn't know anybody, and suddenly found myself without a warm market. I knew no one. And so it was interesting because I had to look at it from a different perspective. I had to look at it from that perspective of, okay, how do I meet people, right? And I think, you know, like you said, we're in the healthcare industry or the natural health industry. And so, you know, my first thought is, well, I think a lot of times we forget the network part of network marketing.
Really?
Right? And so, you know, you actually do have to get out of your house sometimes, and we have to talk to people. And so the easiest way to do that, and the easiest way to do it, like, without, you know, standing in a Starbucks line hoping that that next person walks behind you and coughs or whatever you're, you know, doing, which is kind of awkward. But
searching for sick people.
You know, search. Yeah. You know, what I did is I started joining different things to do, you know, things that I like doing, because number one, you're going to attract people that are like you. Okay, so whatever energy that you're portraying out, if you're a negative type person, the team's going to be kind of ugly, okay, because they're going to be negative energy just like you, because you're going to attract or repel whatever you're wanting. So I can't say enough about personal development as far as the standpoint of becoming a more positive person, because if you want a positive team, you better be positive yourself. And I don't mean false positive, I just mean having a good optimistic outlook. And so, you know, I joined, I like to rock climb, okay? It's a fun thing. I mean, it's the reason we moved to Chattanooga, because we could, which was one cool thing about network marketing, is it works from anywhere. My wife was able to retire as an attorney, which was stuck her to a location, and I was an IT professional, which stuck me to a location, and we didn't like that. So through this business, we were able to be anywhere, so it was kind of cool. Well, when we went to Chattanooga, you know, I like to, I've got a motorcycle, I like to Jeep, I like to rock climb, I like to camp. And so obviously those are associations that you can find. You know, if all you do is watch TV, you probably need to find another hobby, right? Because you can't enroll the TV. And so, you know, the best that you can do as far as finding more people is getting out there and getting involved in organizations. And there are a lot of great organizations out there that encourage, I was going to say meetups. We started those, and
go join a meetup. Find something that you're interested in that
just show up.
That naturally lends itself to people saying, well, what do you do? And at that point, you have that conversation. But it's not, you're not spamming people on Facebook by trying to show the before and after results of your product. You know, everybody's doing that right now. Get out there and be a real person.
Yeah, and that's actually, when it comes to prospecting, that's probably my intention of the conversation. If I'm truly wanting to, like, officially prospect, which I can't say I do that a whole lot. I just like talk to people, right? But my goal in the conversation is for them to ask me what I do. So I rarely have to tell them. It's like all these thumbs. So I rarely have to tell them what I do. I usually, my life is exciting enough, and it was exciting before I got to retire. Okay, so it was because I created that excitement. All right, and so, and it's easy with guys. I think guys just naturally go. You know, at some point, if you're talking more than 5 minutes, once you're through with the
men are about what they do.
Once you're through with the sports scores and the weather, you're moving on to what do you do? You know, because we're simple.
And so women are about relationships.
That's right. And so I think that's where, you know, in about 5 minutes, they're going to be asking me what I do, and that's a lot of how you carry yourself. It's a lot of how you talk about yourself. It's a lot of how you talk about your life. And if you intrigue a person about what you're doing in your life, not your business, but your life, then it will lend someone to kind of ask those questions. And so once they ask me what I do, now, that said, if they don't, it's common for me, I'll ask, so what do you do? So there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I'm still not telling them what I do, okay? I ask them what they do. And then they go in, they tell me, you know, what they're doing. Oh, that's cool. You know, and I was talking to a guy about, he was flipping businesses, and I thought that was intriguing, you know. And so curiosity is a huge gift. So you've got to be curious about life in general. But invariably, they will ask you. It's a return favor. And so once they do, you tell them what you do. And it's so funny because my wife and I, because I had for 20 years I was IT, and so it was very difficult for me to say I teach people about, you know, natural health. It was very difficult for me to say that because I was constantly teaching people about technology, and so that was my identity. And so literally I would have my wife ask me at different times in the day when I was with her, So what do you do? And I would, I'd stutter all over myself.
Elevator
and,
speech.
Oh yeah, and so you practice that to where you became very comfortable with it, and that was long before I retired from IT. So I said what I did, and in the very beginning, because it's a little awkward. Okay, I just started this business. I'm not making any money, and I can't really say this is what I do. Right? That's okay. Here's what I do. I'm an IT professional, but here's what I'm passionate about. Okay.
That's a good one.
And so boom. That was the tiny part of what I do, and now they didn't even really hear it, And then what I'm passionate about is teaching people about natural health. Oh, really? Well, how do you do that? Now we're talking.
Great transition.
So that's how you can. That's some examples there. Sorry, I went
All
long
right.
enough. Too
No, those are excellent tips. And I have seen we've got quite a few joined. Aaron Price says, great advice. Plant your flag in your own backyard first. Yes. Amberly joined. Hey. Matthew Nathan says, hey, Paul and David. David, good seeing you again. Welcome, Nicole Williams and Amanda Mullins. So today I switched it up. I'm hoping you guys got some value from this. If you like this, feel free to throw it into the comments, click like, and I will try to start, switching it up more often. Aaron Price says, great answer for what do you do? Yes, because a lot of people ask that. Sophia says, love that comment. Awesome. So we are getting ready for Facebook to shut me down because we have almost gone 30 minutes. But I hope you guys found a lot of value in this today. If so, if you like these tips and you'd like more, feel free to visit my blog. You can do that at sherrybrowncoaching.com. Be sure to enter your name and email, and you can get my free download for the 5 skills every person should know if they want to become a top earner in their company. So until next time, welcome, Nicole. So until next time, bye guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.